Fox News is now streaming live on Fox One. The voices you trust, the stories you won't find anywhere else.
This is the story breaking right now.
Fox One, we live for live.
Try it free for 7 days. Offers are subject to change. Go to Fox One for complete terms and conditions.
And, what I've heard from people I've dated is that they just want to be respected. They want to have the experiences, but they just want to be treated well and treated nicely and relax and be comfortable, feel safe. Just be that kind of nice person and treat people well. And, the more you do that, the more, the better off these relationships are, I find.
Welcome to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Here's your host, Marcus.
Welcome to another episode of Secrets of a Sugar Daddy, the number one sugar dating podcast in the world, where we pull back the curtains on the good and the bad and the shocking stories of sugar dating. I've got a guest in today from across the pond. He actually came to our party. We're going to get to him in a minute. I'm sure he has a few shocking stories. We'll dive deep into his journey. But if you guys want to see photos, because he was at our last party, you want to see videos and behind-the-scenes things that nobody else gets to see, it's on our Patreon now. Go to patreon.com/Secrets of a Sugar Daddy podcast. We'd love for you to join us, be a member of our family. It really does feel like a family there. You're welcomed. We have a free option. And of course, we have some tiers that start as little as $10 a month, and then they go up from there. If you want some coaching and profile reviews, Lily is great at those, and she's still doing that behind the scenes. And then we haven't announced the details yet, but we do have the dates locked in for Sugarpalooza 7. And that's going to be November 14th through 16th here in beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona. Not much better place in the world to be during that time of year. Absolutely gorgeous. A lot going on. We have 2 suites. We've got 50 tickets to go see Bryan Adams and Pat Benatar. Now, for you younger people, I'm sure you've heard their songs. I mean, Summer of '69. Who hasn't heard that song from Bryan Adams? But my God, Pat Benatar is a legend. And she's going to be opening up. She's got so many good songs. Just Google it. They are sing-along songs. So you definitely want to take part in that. Even if you aren't even into those artists, it's going to be a lot of fun. The whole weekend, it goes by pretty quickly, and you make so many new friends from all over the world. And we will have the applications up on our party tab on our website, secretsofasugardaddy.com, when we get all the details worked out. So look for that soon. Speaking of parties, met this gentleman. He's a member of our Patreon, participates quite a lot. And so if you're on there and you comment about anything, usually Mr. Friendly is what he goes by. Actually, his real name is Phil. He is from Denmark. I think he's in Europe or in London right now and joining us through Zoom. How are you doing, Phil?
Well, I'm very well, thank you. How are you? Thanks
for joining us. I know it's like we're recording at 1 o'clock here Arizona time, and it's 9 o'clock there, so I appreciate you staying up late. And we've got some things to talk about because, Phil, we need to know some of the magic behind Phil because as like me, Phil's no Brad Pitt. Phil's got some issues with height, and like most of us, we're a little pudgy. But Phil was the hit of the party, and all the women loved it. And I'm not kidding you when I say this. All of the women adored this guy and thought he was just the bee's knees. So give us a little background, Phil. You are how old?
I'm 56.
56. Okay, so we're close.
I'm 5'4".
So yeah, we'll just get that out of the way. Phil is 5'4", so vertically challenged. I'm only 5'9". There's plenty of women that tower over me, but at our age, who gives a fuck, right?
Exactly.
That's not an issue for us.
Nope.
Phil,
I mean, yeah, it's one of those things that you just have to, your limitations and use them to your advantage, basically.
Right. So
So
at 56, that what you said 56, right?
yeah.
Just tell us a little bit about yourself. Have you been married before?
Yes, I was married until 2016. We were only married for 9 years, but together for 21. And,
Wait, so you
it
guys
was,
just lived together and then finally tied the knot?
yeah, I mean, we never saw marriage as something that was, necessary as such. But because my ex is another nationality and the kids wanted dual nationality, it just made sense to get married. Yeah, and even though we ended up getting divorced, the fact that we were married still holds for the kids, so they don't lose that advantage that they had. It
Gotcha.
was basically that's all it was. And it was 21 great years. I mean, we the last sort of 6 months were a little bit rocky, but we're still great friends. We just lost the romantic spark, but it was 21 really good years.
So was it a mutual decision to part ways, or did somebody initiate it?
My ex initiated it. She found someone else, but it was really a situation where whoever found someone first, things were gonna break apart, and I wasn't really looking. It was a rough little patch, but we're still best of friends, and looking after the kids.
All right, so now you're in your late 40s, newly divorced. What were your thoughts?
My thoughts were I've had a long relationship, a really good long relationship. And I thought if I had another one as long as that, when I was, 40, I'd have been 47 when we got divorced. That takes me up into my, to about 70. And I wasn't sure if I wanted that anymore, which is why I started using the vanilla dating apps and realized that there are actually a lot of really nice people out there. And it was a great opportunity to meet people from all over the world, because living in major cities, they tend to be very diverse with where people come from. And it was just a great opportunity to go out and meet people. And that's how I got into the more ethical non-monogamy side of things.
So you really started finding yourself and finding a side of you that you really hadn't been able to explore in a long time, I imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, both of us, as far as I know, were see, since living in Denmark, I've lost a lot of my English, but we were both faithful to each other. So, both of us were in a situation where we came out of the marriage and there were lots of opportunities.
When you got on these apps, being 5'4" has to be a challenge.
It is, especially in Denmark, where the average height of a woman is about 5'8".
They're
like
tall.
that.
They're
all
that
white.
tall on average over there.
Well,
It just seems like it.
Feels like it.
Yeah, right. 6'1" with heels.
Yeah, and every time you look the vanilla dating ones anyway, it always says I'm 5'8" and you need to be taller, or and I like to kiss upwards. So these people that I come across the profiles, and I'm just like, well, no, it's white, left, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And it really limited the type of people that I could approach.
Yeah, I remember before I got married, I was in my early 30s and I was on one of the apps. And I finally matched with somebody that I was attracted to. I'm like, oh my God, I'm actually like, she is attractive. And we matched. And so we were talking. And then she says, yeah, I don't think this is going to work because you're 5'9", I'm 5'8", and I like to wear heels and I just can't do this. And I'm like, what happened to personality and, all these other things? It's all about height. So yeah, I've been down that road myself and it kind of sucks.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, you have to respect what people like and what people want. But the real thing in comparison with something like Seeking, for example, is I can set my height range to people that are shorter than me, and then if anybody taller comes and finds me and messages me or favorites me or whatever, then I know that they've seen how tall I am and they're okay with it.
Yeah.
That's the big difference, I think, with the different types of dating.
All right. So you did the vanilla apps, you met some people. What led you into the sugar dating scene?
Because the vast majority of the people on vanilla apps were looking for relationships. And I wasn't looking for that kind of sort of deep committed thing. I wanted to have a strong emotional connection, sure, but I didn't want to get into a situation where we think about moving in together or think about, what the future held. I don't want to sound sort of flippant about it, because it wasn't like I was just going around trying to date as many women as possible. But I just realized that when you are seeing so many different types of people, it kind of opens you up to, different things about the world. Dating someone from Brazil or dating someone from Portugal or dating someone from Germany or something like that. It just gives you so much variety and opens your eyes to so many different things.
I noticed that too. When I got divorced in 2016, I started dating and I was like, I really liked this girl that I met on Seeking, but then I met somebody else and I got something totally different from them. And I'm thinking, wow, I really enjoy the company of all kinds of different people because it brings out different sides of me. I get to learn different things. And, I was with my ex-wife for 16 years and I just got into a rut and I just felt like my life was basically revolving around work and not much else. It just wasn't very fulfilling. Unfortunately,
Yeah, for sure. And how many, if you think about all the attributes about a woman that you like, how huge of a chance is it that you're going to find all of those things in one single person?
Mm-hmm.
Now, because you're hoping to find as many of them as possible in one person, because then, I guess that's your soulmate or the right person for you. But there's still going to be, little things, whether it's, something to do with a little bit of the personality, or, it could be all sorts of things that don't quite match up with what you want to experience out of life. And that's why seeing different people can give you those little things whilst you're still keeping this, your main relationship or something that you feel very strongly about, in a good place. And that's one of the reasons why ethical non-monogamy is so interesting for me, because it gives you the chances to open up. But if you want to have that one thing sort of central to your life, you can still do that.
Mm-hmm.
You're listening to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Now back to the show with your host, Marcus.
All right, so here you are in your late.
Fox News is now streaming live on Fox One. The voices you trust, the stories you won't find anywhere else.
This is the story breaking right now.
Fox One, we live for live.
Try it free for 7 days. Offers are subject to change. Go to Fox One for complete terms and conditions.
40s, you were on some vanilla apps, you tried Seeking. Did you get on Seeking fairly quickly after your divorce? Or I'm assuming, is that where you got, or is it some other website?
No, that's where I went. I think I tried one other, but I can't remember what it was called, and it wasn't very good. It was one of those where you have to pay for every single message.
Yeah, like Secret Benefits does that, which is also sugardaddy.com.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and if you get trapped by a bot that only does, one word answers, you feel like you suddenly realize you're grinding up against the wall, spending all this money, but
Yeah, I don't like that revenue model at all. It's just not appealing, and I don't know who does like it, but it's still there.
I'm not that kind of sort of billionaire where I can afford to do that sort of thing. I found Seeking probably about 6 years ago now. I've been on. This is my third time on there. well, I guess fourth, because the first time on there, I had no idea what I was doing. And
Like most of us.
yeah. And I dated someone, did all the PPM and the fancy dinner, and got home, looked at my bank account, and I thought, oh, I'm not ready for this. This isn't.
Yeah. Women are expensive.
This isn't. Yeah, and deservedly so, I think. So I saw what it was, actually really liked it because it gave you that kind of drama-free, cut out all the bullshit side of a relationship and just left you with the good stuff, the fun dates and the fun intimacy and stuff like that. And so I saw how much it was going to cost me, and I waited until I was sort of financially ready, and it's all worked swimmingly ever since.
Yeah. So you're based in Denmark. Do you reach out to people from all over, or are you looking for somebody local there? How does that work in Europe?
It's difficult in Denmark because there are very, very few people that do that kind of dating.
What would be the population of where you live?
Well, I mean, it's the capital, but there's about 1 million people in the city.
Wow.
And only about six and a bit million in the whole country.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, you're 45 minutes away from Berlin on a plane. You're an hour from Paris. You're a couple of hours from Greece and Spain and stuff like that. So it's, I mean, if I travel to see someone in Britain, I can spend 3 hours on the train. So, getting in a plane and flying for a couple of hours to somewhere isn't that big a deal, really. It's just logistically more taxing, I suppose.
Right. Have you found an area that you really enjoy the culture of the women a little better than others?
Well, I have to say London's very good, simply because of the variety. Like, I mean, I imagine it's something very similar to New York or something like that, because you've literally got people from all over the world.
Yeah, it's a big melting pot.
Yeah. And of course that makes it more expensive, but it's worthwhile because you can really find, narrow down and find people that you can really, really connect with, which is the most important thing.
Nice. When you were over there, were you chatting with any American women or mainly just European?
What, when I was in
when you were in
Arizona?
Denmark, yeah, and stationed there? Yeah. Did you keep it pretty localized there to the European countries?
I always keep it local, simply because I haven't got the time to do lots and lots of traveling, going back and forth between Britain and Denmark every week. It doesn't leave a lot of space for much else.
Right.
So at the moment, I'm dating locally. Although interestingly, I did connect with a woman from Scottsdale the day after I left.
Really?
Yeah, but we're still talking. In case I ever come back.
Let's dive into some of these dates. What you said, you really didn't know what you were doing in the beginning. So, how did you approach the whole thing?
Well, the first time I was like, I'd met someone. She was great looking, really nice, chatting over text, and she suggested going on this kind of date, and I was like, yeah, go on, man, that's great. And then prices kept adding up with hotels and restaurants and activities and stuff like that, and I was just imagining in my head that the bank account going ding, 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 clicking down all the way to zero. But once I got myself sorted out and had a budget, saw what I could afford to use on sugaring, then it all became pretty straightforward. And I started organizing the dates because then I could, without being cheap, I could fit it into my budget depending on how many dates we were going on a month, and if I was seeing anybody else at the same time, and I can work it out that way. So it just works out. And one of my big weakness is hotels. I love a really nice hotel. So I have to weigh that in as well. Get a really nice hotel room and, maybe go on fewer dates, but make them a bit more extra special.
Right.
But again, that depends on who you're with and what kind of connection you have with someone.
When you go out and you find somebody in this lifestyle, having more than one sugar baby at a time, though, that's where it really starts adding. I can afford one, but man, when it gets to like 2 or 3, whoo, that's where I'm looking going, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I'm spending what a month? This is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. How much over budget are you? Exactly.
Oh, man.
What I do is, because I usually have someone who's a main, that we go out a couple of times a month, really nice. Again, because I'm traveling, I only have the time to see them once a fortnight or something. But then there's usually sort of 2, 3 other people in either location that we'll see once every couple of months. By that way, doing things that way, I can work out in advance if I'm going to be a little over budget this month or a little under budget this month, and do a rollover so that I can maybe see someone else the next month as well. It's a balance, but it's something that I've worked on, and it falls pretty naturally at the moment. Yeah.
All right, so I'm curious, these girls from all these different countries, you ever encounter like a really tough language barrier where it's very hard to even carry on a conversation?
No, that usually gets weeded out in the text stage. Although that is getting a little harder now with
all the translation apps. They can
AI and translations and stuff like that.
They can carry on a pretty good text game, but then when you get in front of them, you're like, wait a minute, you don't really know English as well as I thought you did.
Yeah, so if I meet someone who isn't English or isn't, say, from Denmark, who I know they speak pretty good English and I speak fluent Danish anyway. If I meet someone from a different country, I'm chatting at the moment with a girl from Finland. We've had a chat on the phone, so I know how good her English is.
Yeah.
And if it had not been a good conversation, I spoke with a girl from Romania who was living in Berlin, and she was texting really, really well. As soon as we got on the phone, it was really difficult to hold any kind of conversation. So not much time is wasted in that regard. But who knows, with AI voice generators, I'm wondering how long a phone call is going to be is going to be useful regarding.
Yeah. I met a Russian girl here in Scottsdale, and I met her up at hotel lobby. There was like a band playing and stuff, with no intention of doing anything else, just a meet and greet, and at a really nice resort here in town. And so the texting back and forth was fine. And then when she showed up, her accent was so thick. And then with the music playing, I had the hardest time with that conversation because I couldn't understand 3 words she was saying. And then she'd have to repeat herself. And I'd trying to decipher, in my head, trying to translate this accent into the English words I know. And I was missing half the words, I think. And it was just so tough.
I know. And like you say, when you don't know the words, or when someone is saying the words that but in a different way with different pronunciation, it just becomes so difficult in that kind of situation.
Yeah.
And we're doing this to have fun, to enjoy ourselves, and to meet great people. So you don't want to come up against that kind of obstacle, which I know is hard, because there's loads of people from certain parts of the world, like the Philippines and South America, that seems to be a lot of women but very few men. So I can imagine that must be quite frustrating for some people.
I used to get a lot of messages from Colombia and Venezuela and Chile, but I don't get as many anymore. I don't know, maybe some of the seeking protocols have weeded out a lot of those, but I used to get bombarded with South American girls and they're beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. And I'm wondering, I guess there's just not a big selection down there, or they're looking for a North American male or somebody to, I don't know. I know my wife was from El Salvador, and she'd always knew that she was going to marry somebody from the U.S., and she did.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, we have in Europe, we have the same with people from Eastern Europe, or not as much now because they're much more involved in the EU. But certainly sort of 10 years ago, there was a huge, influx of people from the EU, from the Eastern Europe coming to the EU, in much in the same way, looking for ways of settling down.
You're listening to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy.
On Fox 1, you can stream Fox's biggest moments live. Get out! Bigger.
I can feel the sweat, and I can smell it a little.
Bigger.
That was genius!
Yeah, that's what we talking about. Fox 1, we live for live. Streaming now.
Now back to the show with your host, Marcus.
All right, well, let's talk a little bit about your venture over to Scottsdale, Arizona earlier this year. First of all, how did you find us, the podcast?
It was actually the last time I joined Seeking, which would have been, it would have been December of 22. I wanted to get into a situation where I was doing it right, because the way I'd been sugar dating before, it seemed to be working fairly well, but it also felt like there could be kind of improvements. Things were lasting 4 or 5 months, 6 months, and I was looking for something a little more long term, something that would go for a year and a half, or something like that. So I was looking for ways of improving the way I dated. And one of the things I did was I searched for podcasts, and there you were, smack bang at the top. I just searched on my, I think I Google Podcasts at that point, and you came up number one. It was it must have been about episode 60 something.
Okay.
When I jumped in. There were a few nuggets of advice in the first episode I listened to, and then so I listened to the next one, and there were a few more nuggets, some things that I was aware of, but it was nice to have that confirmation, but some things where I hadn't really thought about it in that way. So I went back and started listening straight from the episode number one. So I've heard all the rough ones at the beginning.
Yeah, well, we thank you for that. You've definitely seen an evolution of the show, because it was a lot less polished in the beginning, and we kind of found our lane, I guess you'd say. And we're still trying to find it. It's just the ever evolving world of dating. Dating has changed from when you and I got divorced in 2016. Even then, 9 years ago, it's a different world today.
Completely. And that's exciting. We moan and complain a little bit when they do certain things to certain sites, but we adapt. We get on with it and still find ways of meeting different people. Yeah.
So before I have a whole list of questions topics I want to talk about, but you keep saying when I signed back up on Seeking, and that reminded me of when I was doing it. So in 2016, I signed up and I found a couple girls I was really interested in, and then I let my membership lapse because I frankly, I was to my max budget. I couldn't really do anything else. And then when those relationships ended, I was like, okay, let's sign up again. Let the shit show begin again. And then like I would push button, and all of a sudden now I can read all the messages, and then I start contacting people, and we go through this whole process again. And then I let my membership, and then I've just got too many, and I'm trying to weed them down to something that I'm comfortable with. And I'd let my membership go. And then like 5-6 months later, I'm like, okay, time to let the shit show begin again. Is that kind of how you feel when you sign back up?
Well, yes, it was. Although the couple of times I've had to re-sign up, the first couple of times it was more a case of I was really excited to get back into it because I just finished with something good, and
Mm-hmm.
whether it finished organically or one of us break it off, I was excited to get back to see who was on there, and I kind of tried to think more about that than all the spam I was going to get, all the weird messages from people who are clearly a guy from Russia or something. It
Yeah.
was, you just, you learn. I mean, we've all been, I've heard so many people on the podcast say, we've been scammed.
Yeah.
Luckily it's only $100 here or there where I thought, oh, I've made the same mistake again.
Well, it
But
is
you learn.
exciting because it's almost like you're searching for that little nugget of gold, and you're just trying to get through all the shit, but it's in there because there's such good people and there's some incredible connections you make, but getting to them is sometimes a hard task. But that's why it's exciting because they're there and you just like can't wait to see what you find.
That's it. I mean, I've dated beauticians, I dated a firefighter, tattoo artist, someone who works in finance, somebody who works for the water company. It's just huge variety of
Oh,
different kinds of people. And that's what makes it exciting to go back. Now, I'm not going to make the mistake of canceling my membership again. I'm just going to keep it open or keep it hidden because I don't want to go through all that shit again. But
yeah, I
so I'm
was
just going to.
shocked on the people that I was meeting because I went out with this girl and she was a newly licensed physician assistant, which is right underneath a doctor. And I'm thinking,
Right.
wow, like here I am going out with basically a doctor on Seeking. But then you got to think, well, for one thing, they have huge amount of debt coming out of school and all their training. And the second thing is they're looking for a higher quality person to date because they've done a lot of this work. They don't want to go filtering through the bums on Tinder and Bumble and stuff. So it made sense to me. And I'm like, wow, okay, that's kind of when I started seeing the light of the quality of people and why they are there. I went out
Yeah.
with somebody who was a lawyer. I went out with somebody that was a dentist. And then everything in between, beauticians and entrepreneurs. I mean, we just interviewed Jane a few weeks ago from Boston, and she's got her own tech company, very intelligent. I had a conversation with her offline about some tech things that I was looking to do, and she spoke the language. I'm telling you what, she was talking so over my head. Now, I knew what she was talking about because I've been exposed to it, but it was amazing of the knowledge and the command that she had on her skill. It was unbelievable. Very,
Yeah,
very intelligent.
that's it. And she was a super lovely person as well.
Yeah.
Because we met at the party. But that's actually a big thing for me. I always try and weed out, well, not weed out, that sounds really bad. I try and look for the people that want to date this way rather than need to. So I look for someone that has a decent job, a decent, well-paid job, and things like that. And that's been pretty huge.
Good. Okay. So you found the show. You figured out that some of the things you were doing were good. Some of the things you were like, okay, I need to improve on this. And then you signed up on our Patreon, which we really appreciate. And you're a very active member there. I wish more people would participate, and we're getting to that point as the numbers grow. But you really interact with the people well. And then you heard about our party, Sugarpalooza 6. What made you think, I'm doing this?
Because I really wanted to come to Sugarpalooza 4 and 5, but couldn't because of work or family commitments. Lily checked with me last minute for Sugarpalooza 5 to see if I wanted to come. But, it's quite the logistical thing to get over there. And I wanted to to come over for a bit of time so I could do plenty of other stuff as well as just the weekend of the party, because it's quite a long way to travel.
Yeah.
So I made sure that she told me exactly when number 6 was going to be, and I booked that time off. So I think we had the party in June. I think I was booked into the party in January or something.
Yeah, you were one of the first ones. I was surprised on how quickly you signed up.
No, it was simply a case of, if I wait any longer, something's going to come up, which means I won't be able to come. But by booking that time off straight away, I could just say, nope, that's going to be me time. That's going to be, party time.
So what were your expectations and hopes of the get together as you were traveling over?
Expectations ranged from everything from people standing around in a corner, not really wanting to talk to each other, to a mass orgy or something like that. It's impossible to picture what it was going to be like. And
it was neither one of those.
No, it was neither. I must admit, the first sort of half an hour is a bit overwhelming, the mixer.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's people that you talk to on WhatsApp, and people. I actually went on a couple of dates before the party weekend started, so there were a couple of people that I'd already talked to quite a lot. But just that amount of people, all a little bit nervous, all a little bit excited, and you just have to take a few deep breaths, get in there, and as soon as you start talking to people, you're just as comfortable as you can be. Everyone was so brilliant and really nice to talk to, and everybody kind of hit that relief pretty much at the same time. I mean, some people are easier to get into party mode than others, but once you realize that everybody was there, happy, calm, and ready to have some fun, it was it was a fantastic weekend, and one that I definitely want to experience again.
We have quite a few pictures of you in the photo booth, I believe.
Yeah,
that was a lot of fun.
I got dragged there a lot. Yeah,
yeah, girls are dragging you in. Hey, let's do this. Yeah.
Let's get the short guy.
Now, what's your thoughts of a lot of those girls that just like we had a lot of tall girls there. It seems like every Sugarpalooza will get quite a few that are like 5'10", 5'11", 6 foot, and then they wear heels in there, and you're just looking up going, wow.
Everyone's tall to me, though.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It doesn't matter if they're 5'9" or 6 foot. Everyone's tall. No, it's great because nobody cares. I mean,
exactly. Nobody cares.
That's pretty general with sugar dating as a whole. But in that kind of situation, nobody cares. And when I talk about using it to my advantage, a lot of the tall women, I play up the sort of cutesy side, so they'll give me a hug because then you know where my head goes. So it's
right.
It's a lot of fun, and like nobody judges, nobody looks at you and looks at the sort of disadvantages, if you like, because everybody's looking to enjoy themselves and meet some great people.
Yeah, it really is much more about the personality at that point, because they're not looking for their next husband or wife. They're not looking for a long-term relationship. If it happens, it happens. Everybody there is just enjoying the moment and enjoying the company of each other, no matter what political side you're on, religious side you're on. It just didn't matter. And it's so refreshing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that goes for sugar dating in general, because a lot of the bullshit disappears. So then when you're meeting people, like at the party, there's so many questions you don't need to ask, those sort of boring standard questions
right.
at the beginning of dating. because they're kind of either answered or nobody cares, and it doesn't matter because that's not why you're there. They want to get to know you, not what you do. They want to know about how much fun you can have, rather than how much money you make, or where you like to go dancing or something. It breaks through that barrier of the boring part of vanilla dating. I suppose.
Yeah,
and it's the same in a group situation at the party. That's all out of the way, so you can just enjoy yourself.
You're listening to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Now back to the show with your host, Marcus.
Fox News is now streaming live on Fox One. The voices you trust, the stories you won't find anywhere else.
This is the story breaking right now.
Fox One, we live for live.
Try it free for 7 days. Offers are subject to change. Go to Fox One for complete terms and conditions.
All right, so the mixer, we got through it, had a lot of fun. What'd you think of the next day with the pre-party and the party bus and the Shakira concert?
It was amazing, and I actually went with a couple of people to a drag brunch that afternoon as well.
Wait, you went to a drag brunch?
Yeah.
Where was that, in Scottsdale or Phoenix?
Yeah. Oh, what's the place? It was.
I know they have a few because when I was looking at things to do this weekend, I saw a few drag type of events, and so I know they have a few in here. I guess those could be fun. I've never done to one.
Yeah, I mean, it was pleasant enough. I went with Queen Lilith and Blue Eye Princess.
Oh, you did? I don't know. I don't think I heard about that.
No, it was just Queen Lilith had sort of said, "Oh, this is on. Should we go?" We booked it a while beforehand.
Yeah.
And the night before, Blue Eye Princess says, "Oh, that sounds fun. Can I tag along?" So yeah, it was one of the main restaurants. It wasn't Cafe Monarch. It was. I can't remember what it was called.
Okay.
Somebody will write it up in the Patreon or something. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then we came to the pre-party later on. Party bus was phenomenal.
That's kind of a surprise to people. They don't realize how much fun the party bus can be. Just transportation to the party or to the arena.
It's so much more than that. However it's been sort of spoken of in the podcast, it's 100 times better.
Yeah, it's kind of expensive for us to do that, but it's so worth it.
Yeah, and it really gets the whole concert thing off to a great start. Shakira was amazing. Can't believe she's 48. Right. So much, way more energy than any of us had.
Yeah, she put on a phenomenal show. Yeah,
it was amazing.
What'd you think of the party suites we were in?
Fantastic. I'd never been in anything like that, and having the large one where the party was going on, and then the little quiet spot for those that either wanted to solely watch the concert or have a little peace and quiet.
We had two suites. We had two suites next to each other. One was very large where most everybody congregated. It was crazy, dancing, drinking. And then if you just wanted a little quiet moment, you could go next door, and it was much calmer, and you could watch the concert from there. So you kind of had a choice.
Yeah, I was in the loud and crazy one the whole time.
Well, why not? Yeah,
right, exactly.
There was lots of great video clips to be had from that one. A lot of good dancing from those girls. They knew how to shake those hips.
Oh yeah, and we have the videos to prove it.
Right. We have a lot of them on our Patreon, so if you guys want to see those, I'm telling you. And I've got more to load on there too. I'm not finished. Lily has some. I have some. We're still gathering, and we've got to blur out faces and things like that on a lot of them. Yeah. But we're going to keep loading up clips from Sugar Palooza 6.
Yeah, and the nice thing is people keep sending me random shots from the party and say, "Oh, I just found this one of us," and it's great.
Yeah,
get them in private messages. Yeah.
So you made quite a few friends while you're here. Have you kept in touch with most of them?
Yeah. There's a few that I have separate threads with. Yeah, I've plans to go to Canada at some point. I was just recently in Paris with someone who was traveling from the party. Who was traveling with their family, so I flew down and went out for dinner together. It was really nice.
Isn't
So
that
if anyone
really
ever comes,
that's really special that you can meet these people and then really they become friends for life. And if they're in town or if they're in your area, it's just it's like like an old friend.
yeah, and I'm saying to everybody, if they come over to Europe, I'll drop down and see them.
Yeah. Now, have you been to
Absolutely.
Canada before?
I have. I've been to Toronto a few times, or I think you're supposed to say it, Toronto.
Uh-huh.
I've been to Nova Scotia, which is one of the most beautiful parts of the country I've been before.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I really love Canada. Yeah.
Well, we have a lot of listeners from Canada, and every year we have a good representation at our party from Canada. So a lot of great,
Yeah.
got a lot of great people there. Our second, I did our stats. Our second most popular area that listens to the show. Well, actually, they just tied. Great Britain has always been second, or the European nations, like they've always.
Yeah.
I think it says UK on the stat sheet, but Australia, we have such a huge following in Australia.
Well, yeah, I'm not surprised because I mean there are some really big sort of city centres there, and
Mm-hmm.
if any of the Australians we met at the party or anything to go by, it's a real party continent.
Yeah, we had a good representation from Australia this year.
Actually, there's a weird fact. I don't know if you know this, but one of the people that came over from Australia was born about half an hour from where I was born.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where was that?
Up in the north of England.
Oh, wow. So they were born in England, but then they're Australian citizens?
Yep.
Nice.
So yeah, that was kind of fun when we worked that out.
Yeah. Now, after the party was over, the weekend, didn't you stay a little bit extra?
I stayed for an extra day. I actually came over about a week before the party started because I wanted to spend a few days up in Las Vegas because I'd never been.
Oh man, you talk about a shit show.
Yeah,
Las Vegas.
But what a shit show!
Yeah,
I had so much fun there.
Good.
And then I had a couple of days in Scottsdale. Met a couple of people that I've talked to a lot on Patreon, sort of privately. Went on a couple of dinners. That was fun. Turning up at Cafe Monarch 2 nights in a row with 2 different women.
Yeah, you were quite the legend for doing that. You know that, right?
Wow, it was, but they, and it's a place they'd both heard of because you talked it up so much, and fabulous restaurant, by the way. Really,
Alejandra
really
and I just
great
went there
food.
for our 3-year anniversary.
Yeah, I couldn't think of a better place. It was really, really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Made the time to see a couple of people and have a couple of dates.
Was this your first time in Scottsdale?
Yeah. It was the first time. I mean, I've been to America a bunch, but always either the East or West Coast.
Sure. What did you think of Scottsdale and Phoenix area?
It's beautiful. I mean, particularly Scottsdale. I really, really liked it. Got to do something about turning that heat down, though.
Well, you did come in June. Yeah.
Yeah, and I landed from Vegas, and it was the hottest day, or something like 45 or.
Oh, that's right, because you got so
like
earlier
that, yeah.
in that week we had record heat. It got up to 118, and still, here it is August now. Still, that's been the hottest day of the year. So you got to experience that. Yeah.
Hey, if you're gonna do it, go all out. That's all I say.
But hey, you survive. Nobody's dying. It's just you go from an air conditioned building to an air conditioned car to another air conditioned building.
I tell you, the hardest thing was learning how to hydrate.
Yeah, you see that I have this huge drink in front of me. I probably buy 4 or 5 of these a day. I'm just carrying them around all the time, drinking.
Oh,
Yeah. My mother's
It is
probably
amazing,
rolling
but it-
over in her grave to know that how much Diet Coke I'm drinking in a day here. But hey, it's like 95% water, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So,
it's beer, isn't it?
all right. So you've really enjoyed your sugar dating adventures. What have you learned
Yeah.
over these last 6 years?
Well, I mean, the things I've learned is things like picking an age range that suits you.
Which is what
Um,
is your age range?
my age range is something like 30 to early 40s. I've tried dating a couple of people in the 20s, and it hasn't really worked out
Yeah.
the way that I hoped. I mean, still fun, but not quite the thing for the kind
It's
of
a different
long-term
connection,
emotional
yeah.
connection.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. Probably the most important thing is be a nice guy. The old sort of cliche of when you're in high school, everybody goes for the bad boys. There comes a certain time in life, particularly when you go out to date this way. And generally, I've found that, and what I've heard from people I've dated is that they just want to be respected. They want to have the experiences, but they just want to be treated well and treated nicely and relax and be comfortable, feel safe. Just be that kind of nice person and treat people well. And the more you do that, the more the better off these relationships are, I find.
Well, very good. I think that's wise words. I know that everybody adored you, like I said, at the party, and they just wanted to feel your energy. You know when you're around a good person, there's just this aura and this energy about them, and everybody had nothing but high things to say about you. And of course, your name is Mr. Friendly.
Yeah. And I'm blushing here. I'm sure I blush really easily. But it's easy when the people you're meeting are fun and enjoyable to hang out with.
Yeah. Well, we thank you very much for joining us over there. I don't know what time you go to bed, but I'm usually in bed by 10 o'clock because I get up at 5 in the morning.
Oh, I'm a night owl. I'm a
Oh, are
3
ya?
in the morning person. So this
Okay.
is still early for me. Yeah.
Well, good. Well, if you guys want to share your crazy sugar dating stories, you know how to reach us. Go to our website, secretsofasugardaddy.com. You can reach us there. Instagram is a great spot. I chat with people every day on Instagram. They message me there, and we will answer for the most part, unless it's something stupid, which I do get those occasionally, but I do read those also. And then, of course, if you want to meet Mr. Friendly on Patreon, he's there, and you can join us on that. It's a big old family. We'd love to have you part of it at patreon.com/Secrets of a Sugar Daddy podcast. All right. Well, hopefully we will see you soon, Phil. And
Yeah.
we'd love to have you at another one of our Sugar Paloozas. I tell you, you were a big hit, and all the women would love it if you came again.
Well, I'd love to have another shot. Yeah, because I really had a great time.
Good. All right. Until next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to connect or even be on the show, we'd love to hear from you at secretsofasugardaddy.com.
On Fox 1, now you can stream your favorite live sports, so you can be there live for the biggest moments. Touchdown! And catch history in the making. Gibby! Meet Freddie! Fox 1, we live for live. Streaming now.